The two, he can look. He said no.
Oh,
Good Lord.
there's a big crowd, Gene. A big crowd here.
They didn't pay any attention anyway.
No, I know.
You know, a few small taps would do the better job.
Okay, I'll try a small tap. Okay.
No, many of them. Many of them. You know,
Welcome, everybody. We have two drain reports on, I like to call them drain reports, not necessarily municipal drain reports, but that's just a rant I have because municipalities really don't own the drains. But unfortunately, one of our councillors is pretty busy in the agricultural world, and she's got conflict on both the drains, so I'll have Judy to step down for now. And there we go.
Friends all left.
So, anyways. So this is a notice of the Engineers Report, Section 78, Drainage Act, Municipal Drain Act, 23, 2019, Parts Lot 21, Concession 12, Lots 21 and 27, Concession 13, Lots 21, 26, Concession 14, Lot 25, Concession 15 in the town of Minto. And I will act as the chair of the public meeting, and I will acting clerk to outline the purpose of the meeting and to consider the engineering report.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Bridge. The purpose of the meeting this afternoon is to consider the engineering report prepared by Dietrich Engineering Limited, dated September 27th, 2019, for drain number 23, 2019. Notices of the meeting were sent to 18 landowners along with copies of the report. As well, copies of the report were circulated to town staff, Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority, the Ministry of Transportation, and the County of Wellington.
Okay. And I'll call on our engineer. Greg, do you want to come up and start the process? Yeah.
It's on.
It's on, I think. Yep, there we go.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. Members of council and staff, I'm Greg Nanskiville, and I'm happy to be here tonight to present this report on municipal drain number 23 on behalf of Dietrich Engineering Limited. I trust you've all had a chance to review this report, and so in the interest of time, I'll go through my presentation rather briefly. If you have any questions at any given time, just ask. Council appointed us on September 5th, 2017 to prepare a drainage report under Section 78 of the Drainage Act for repairs and improvements, and under Section 76 to update the schedule for future maintenance assessment for the watershed. An on-site meeting was held on October 13th, 2017. An information meeting was held on July 19th of 2019. This report is recommending the enclosure of an existing open ditch on the Lorne and Joyce Bauman property, approximately 392 meters of open ditch to be enclosed. Because the tile proposed doesn't follow the exact alignment, the length of tile is actually 380 meters. It kind of cuts the corner a little bit, shortens it up. And when they enclose that open ditch, we're replacing it with approximately 380 meters of 450, which is 18-inch, to 525, which is 21-inch concrete pipe, and high-density polyethylene pipes as well. We're also recommending the cleanout of approximately 1,750 meters of open ditch to the specified grades as found on the profile of this report. Removal and disposal off-site of 3 culvert crossings. Installation of 2 concrete catch basins. DFO has actually provided, that's Department of Fisheries and Oceans, has provided a letter of advice, and that is in our report under Appendix 1. Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority has indicated that a permit for these works will be required. Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority, they actually prefer to have the application for a permit submitted after the report has been given third and final reading. That's contrary to Maitland. Maitland likes it the other way. Allowances have been provided under this report under sections 29, 30, and 33. 29 is right-of-way. 30 is damages. That's for lands and crops. And 33 is an allowance for loss of access. And that is actually because in one instance here, we're removing culvert crossing for one individual, and that individual has opted not to go to the expense of having it replaced. Total allowances are shown in a table on Schedule A, which is actually page 8 of this report. Total allowances under this report are $42,040. Total estimated cost for this project, as presented here, $187,500. The assessment of these costs can be found in Schedule C, which are pages 12 to 14 of this report, with a summary of the assessments on the yellow pages, which are actually pages 15 and 16. If you look at the back of the report, there's a plan called drawing 1 of 3, followed by profile and some details on 2 of 3, and on the third, we have some more profiles and some more details for the installation and such like under this report. At this point in time, I'd be happy to try to answer any questions anyone may have.
Okay. Thanks, Greg. And does the staff, the town, what you want to make your comments? Okay, I'll call any persons in attendance wishing to provide information that might influence our decision on the matter. Does anybody want to talk to this? Right. Any questions from the council? Okay. All right. As the chair, I will state the council must decide whether or not to proceed with the project or provisionally adopting the engineer's report by a bylaw or referring the report back to the engineer for modifications. There's no right to appeal the assessments or other aspects of the engineer's report at this meeting. Those appeal rights will be made available later in the procedure. Acting Clerk.
And I will note that we have a bylaw to consider in open council regarding this drainage.
And I will officially adjourn the meeting then on this one. Oh, yeah.
What is outlet liability?
Oh.
Versus,
Sorry, I didn't see you back there. Did you have your hand up and I didn't see it?
that's Daryl.
Here, okay.
In general terms, I can discuss that. And the outlet liability is actually the user pay system based on the area you have within the watershed. And the watershed boundaries have been determined through a variety of sources here. Ontario swoop data, old reports, and field investigations, that type of thing. So if you turn to page 1 of 3, which is the plan view or the drawing, depending on which watershed boundary you're looking at, the overall one is the dashed blue line, and that's the one for future maintenance. So that encompasses the entire watershed. The works we're doing is not on the entire drain, so that's why we have that other watershed, the dashed blue line with the lighter blue along the outside of it. That's the catchment area for where we're proposing works.
Okay.
Now, outlet liability is basically the engineers instructed under the Act how to calculate that outlet liability, and it's based on the acreage. We factor the acreage for land usage. It can be agricultural. For bush lots, we give a 40% reduction. For paved roads, we usually use a factor of 4, that type of thing. And it's basically the amount of area you have factored for how you use it, and then for what part of the drain your property may utilize. If you're at the lower end of the drain, your outlet would be calculated just based on the lower end of the drain. And under the Drainage Act, there's a few exceptions, but generally speaking, you don't pay for any works that are done upstream of where your property may potentially use. So that's outlet.
I don't know.
Okay, and the acreage, and you actually list the acreage out there.
Yes, in hectares, but yes. Yeah. And that may not be all you own, but that's what's within those watershed boundaries.
Right. If you didn't agree with like if you didn't think it'd be quite as much for them, I don't know how you.
Okay.
Not wishing to appeal or anything.
No,
Okay.
It's good question.
If you did disagree, it would have been nice if it had been brought up before this point. If you think it's significant enough you could ask to have the report referred back and the watershed verified. But if you go earlier in the report here, and I'm not saying this is perfect, we have found some errors. If you go to the watershed characteristics, which are on page 4, the watershed boundaries have been established through the analysis of tile drain maps. In some cases, we have people who have systematically tiled their properties. We have their drain maps to use. Previous engineers' reports, they're not perfect. We have a lot more resources now than they did back in the 50s when this was started. We use some field investigations if we were asked at one of the information meetings or the on-site meeting to go and verify a section of it. I don't think we were asked in this particular case. Data analysis of the swoop data, Southwestern Ontario Orthographic Project, and that's in 2015 now. I think they have 2018 out. They flew over Southwestern Ontario and used LiDAR, and we have software that can take that data, and we can actually generate contour maps, very detailed contour maps. It's very good. We've just started relying on it really the past couple of years. It's very good, but it's not perfect. For instance, LiDAR doesn't know. It'll give you the topography and generate contour maps, but it may not know that there's actually a culvert under a road or a berm or something like that. So it's very good. It's not perfect.
So there's an extensive, sounds like there's an extensive work to come up with that. I don't know how you would go. I guess you'd have to have your own report or something to come up.
Yeah, I think it's a survey with the wetland and most of the Maitland, but you're
Okay.
not going that, if you're not going that drain, you're probably going to go to another one. Associated with it.
Yeah, but it's good. That's a good question. I never actually understood. I'm not sure I understand it now, but it cleared it up a little bit. There's a lot of work goes into it. Okay. Where are we at now? We're adjourning? Yes. Turn that one. And everybody must be here for the next one. So, second public meeting is Notice of Engineers Report, Section 4 and 78 Drainage Act Municipal Drains number 20 and 117, 2019, parts of lots 20 and 23, concession 15, lots 19 to 26, concession 16, lots 20 to 27, concession 17, and lots 21 to 27, concession 18, town of Minto. I'll act as the chair of the public meeting, and I'll turn it over to acting clerk.
There we are. Thank you, Mayor Bridges. The purpose of this meeting is to consider the engineering report prepared by Dietrich Engineering Limited, dated September 27th, 2019, for drains number 20 and 117-2019. Notices of the meeting were sent to 40 landowners along with copies of the report. As well, copies of the report were circulated to town staff, the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority, and the County of Wellington.
Okay, I'll call on Greg. It's right here.
Okay, once again, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And same as before, if there's any questions anywhere along my presentation, just ask.
Okay.
Council has appointed us on April 4th of 2017 to prepare this drainage report under Section 4, which is a new petition for a new municipal drain, under Section 78 for repairs and improvements to the existing municipal drain, and Section 76 to update the schedule for future maintenance of the entire watershed. An on-site meeting was held on May 19th, 2017. An information meeting was held on July 19th, 2019. And this is a kind of a two-part project here. Drain 20, which is an existing municipal drain. This report is recommending for drain 20 to be slightly deepened, approximately 709 meters. The incorporation of a culvert crossing that was installed a few years ago by Grassland Management, an updated schedule for future maintenance of the overall watershed. That's the works prepared for, or proposed for 20. Drain number 117, we're proposing to construct a new tile drainage system for approximately 208 meters and using tiles of 350 millimeter, which is 14 inch, to 375 millimeter, which is 15 inch diameter. Once again, concrete tile and high density polyethylene pipes. This includes a new surface and subsurface pipe across Wellington Road 3. We've used an 1.5-inch drainage coefficient for our design standard. Department of Fisheries and Oceans, we do not have their authorization yet. This is a Type B water course, but due to the magnitude of the work we're proposing to do in stream, we don't anticipate there being any serious problems there. Once again, this is in the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority boundary, so they have indicated that a permit will be required, and they prefer to have these permits issued after this report has had third and final reading. Allowances in this project have been provided under sections 29 and 30, 29 right-of-way, and 30 for damages to lands and crops. Total allowances are shown in a table on Schedule A, page 8 of this report, and the total allowances provided under this report are $27,320. Total estimated cost for this project as presented, $145,900. The assessment of these costs can be found in Schedule C, which are pages 12 to 16 of this report, with the summary of assessments on the yellow pages, which are pages 17 to 20 of this report. And I know that was kind of quick, but at this point I'd like to try to answer any questions anyone may have.
Questions? Okay. Did you want, first of all, if everybody could go up to the mic and just state your name, and then, because otherwise people will not hear you. Yeah, there's a map. I was going to say get the map up here. That might help.
There's the map.
Oh, Lynn. Hey, just speak in the mic, Lynn, there, please, if you want. Just grab it if you want. You don't have to sit
My
down.
name is Lynn Neves, okay, and my husband is not able to try and attend because he's anyways, the property that I'm referring to is part lot 21A, concession 17. It's right on the corner of 3 and Ski Road. So I'm wondering, where is this drain that you're referring to located?
Okay, if you look on the plan up there on the screen, the beginning of it, or the lower end of it, is on the boundary road between West Grey and Minto. And if you've been around here for a while, it's actually on what used to be the Barry Odger farm. It's now owned by Grassland Management. So that's where it starts. And then it comes up, and I don't know if you've noticed, but it crosses Wellington Road 3. Maybe you know where that is. And then it just hooks around there a little bit and crosses back over 3, and then parallels. It probably looks to like a roadside ditch, and then it heads off into the farmers' fields there on the Burnett property.
Yep.
And then it crosses Wellington Road 2 up, getting close to the Shannon property. And then it becomes a tile drain on the Shannon property. And this is kind of different. That it's tile drains that they took one tile drain and went around one side of the hill, and one tile drain went around the other side of the hill. And then I think they refer to it as the Wilson subdivision there. It becomes an open ditch again just before it gets there. And it's an open ditch right through to Wellington Road 2, and it actually crosses Wellington Road 2, and then it just looks like a roadside ditch paralleling, well, it is a roadside ditch, but that's branch A right along the edge of the road there,
Okay,
on the east side.
How does it affect my property way up here? It's right up here.
Oh, that's because if you're within these watershed boundaries, you have some outlet liability at least. If I can put it kind of in layman's terms, Maitland River has a lot of water on it, and it doesn't all come from the people that own land right beside the river. It's a huge watershed that actually contributes to it. This is somewhat same, just on a much smaller scale. Using the resources that I've pointed out just previously, we've determined that that is actually within this watershed boundary for these works.
Okay, can you explain to me, you're referring to 20.2 hectares of our property that might be inferred in this. So that's this line going up this way, correct?
Correct.
So what would be done?
What would be done up there?
Yeah.
Nothing up there, but you
It's
do.
all down at the bottom here.
Pardon me?
It's all, like all the work is in. The reason why I'm asking is because we have our farm up for sale right now, and I have to include whatever is getting done in the realtor's assessments and let the new buyers know if we have any. That's why I need to try to get clarification in what's being done, so that they have an idea of what's gonna come at them.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like, there's gonna be no work that's gonna be incurred on our property possibly?
Not on your property, no. If you look at your property, here,
No.
through you, Mr.
Yep,
Mayor.
yeah.
There's actually drain number 64 that actually comes up. That's a tile system. And the branch goes across.
Yeah.
Right there.
It comes right at the
Yeah.
bottom of our end.
And then on the other side of the road, it steps up there. So your water, this half of your farm, the front part, the lower part actually kind of contributes to the system down through this drain 64 and only becomes involved in what we're doing.
Up at the top end.
Well,
The reason why we never drain that is because we keep it for wildlife.
But it's all part of the water, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just wanted an understanding because I'm sitting there going, 20 some odd hectares are going to be affected. Like I said, we've got a place up for sale, and I need to try and let new buyers and the realtor know what's going on.
And I assume, Greg, there's sort of an assessment for that amount? It's assessments in there for that.
Yes. Yep.
So you would know that that's approximately what the assessment would be. So if you're selling a property, they would have to know that.
Yeah, because no offense, but I mean, this is the first I've heard of it when I started reading it because I've never seen anything else
Right,
prior to it.
right.
Okay. No, that answers my question. So it's not going to affect taxes whatsoever, in a sense. Like, I mean,
It's nothing to do with taxes. Well, I shouldn't say that. Gordon, you better answer that.
And I guess if it's not paid, it's treated as taxes, so it is linked to the property. So if there were, certainly, so it's not taxes directly, but it would be linked to the property. So if the assessment wasn't paid, it could be collected as taxes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, like you'll get a bill and then it can be added to the taxes again if it's not paid or that. But so again, depending on the time of your sale, the final assessment may not be through. But Greg has provided at least an estimate of what it'll be for your property.
Yes, and according to the report and our estimated costs, your share of this project net cost would be $79.
Cancel sale.
Yeah, and it doesn't affect your taxes in a sense other than what Gord said. One of the reason it's in the municipal boundaries, the municipal act was if people don't pay, has to go somewhere, and so we have to administer it. So we would put it if that $79 wasn't paid, it would go on the tax roll. But it doesn't make your taxes go up or down or anything like that.
yeah.
So-
No, like my husband's worked in construction for years.
Yeah.
And years before he became disabled. And like he understands
Mhm.
that things have to be cleaned up, refixed,
Yeah.
calibrated, and that. This way, this way, I
Yeah.
know what's behind the expense.
But you can tell your realtor there's what could be possibly going on with your property.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem. I thought I saw a couple more hands.
The question got answered. I just wondered how we had to pay the money.
Oh, okay. All right.
Send us the bill.
Yeah, I'll get a bill. You'll get a bill. And if you don't pay, that's what Gordon said.
Yeah.
He has that ability to put on your taxes. Right.
Indirectly.
Anybody else got a question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
I won't be able to see it, so I'll put the glasses.
Oh, you want mine?
I'll do my best. My
Right.
name's Ray Harris, and
Yeah, all right.
we own this property right here. And I'm just wondering, what is it going to be dug up and cleaned out? Or?
No, your property, you won't see anything. The only works we're proposing here is quite a bit downstream of your property.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's all I want to know.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else? Oh, yep. Yes.
Up to the mic.
Sorry? Oh. Well, that's a good point. We just had a little discussion on that today. You want to enter into that?
Okay. I would anticipate getting through this process. I would anticipate tonight this report receiving first and second reading,
Yep.
and following that a provisional bylaw. Well, you'll be signing a provisional bylaw, and that'll be mailed out to all of the ratepayers, everyone who's assessed here. And along with that will be a notice of what's called the Court of Revision. And the Court of Revision, that's where if you as landowners don't think we have done this distribution of costs quite appropriately, you can appeal the way we've done it. you can appeal your assessment, and then we'll be here in front of a council meeting, and this one is all Minto. So it'll be, the court will be made up of 3 or 5 of your council members. And if you can plead your case and convince them that we somehow have not maybe assessed these quite properly, you think you're paying a little too much or too little, or your neighbor's not paying quite enough or too much, then they have the authority to make a decision and overrule what we have done here. We as engineers, once we turn this report over to the municipality, it's out of our hands. We can't make that change, but the Court of Revision can. Oh, sorry. And following that process, hopefully there's no more appeals. We would be assisting the municipality in preparing contract documents, and after that, I would anticipate probably putting this out for public tender early 2020, maybe February. January sometimes maybe not the best month to do that in. And then we do have the other project here, so we'd be tendering them at the same time, I would expect, and hopefully we would have summer of 2020 construction with everything all wrapped up, let's say at least in the fall. And then when all the final numbers are in, we work with the municipality for the final numbers and the assessment schedules. We apply for the grants where applicable on your behalf, and the municipality will send you a bill for the remaining balance. So I wouldn't anticipate, maybe the earliest you guys would get a bill, I would say, would be pretty close to a year from now, and perhaps in 2021.
Yeah, I was thinking probably closer to 2021, probably. Yeah. Because I found out today that there's a bit of time delay sometimes because there's certain limits of how much you can get a grant for. So we wait till all the invoices get in, because then you might get more grant, right? Is that sort of what was told to me today? I don't know. Like, it takes longer to get everything in because the smaller ones don't necessarily qualify. Mike, did you mention that?
Yeah, that's more for maintenance.
Oh, that's maintenance. Okay. No, I'm on a different one. Okay. I'll get this figured out. All right. Sounds good. Any other questions? Yes. And if you could just come up to the, you yell it out now. I'll put it into the mic for you. What do you got? Okay. The question was, when did 117 become a municipal drain? I'm sure you have that answer.
Yes, excellent. It will become a municipal drain after it receives third reading. We're in the process of making 117 a municipal drain.
Right. It wasn't before.
Where is it? Within a month or so, probably. Yeah.
Month or so.
It is not. No.
Okay. All right. That's right. The new drain. Yep. Okay. I'll just put the question in. Grassland management is getting paid for a culvert. Is that okay?
Correct.
Okay. And how is that? Is that normal?
Okay. Under the Drainage Act, if a culvert is put in under a new report, which this is a new report, or 23 is perhaps more applicable, then there are grants available, and there's also cost sharings available with upstream landowners. If you have any water going through that culvert, then you have some partial obligation to help pay for it. If every time a person wanted a culvert put in to a municipal drain, they had to go through a drain report, it's probably not really what you want to do, because engineers are expensive. And they add a lot of costs. In this case, Grassland Management actually come to myself as the drainage superintendent. They said their intentions, what they wanted to do. And we actually size the culvert for them. We give them the specifications. It's got to be made of this material, this diameter, this length. The end treatments, we specified that. We went out and give them elevations to set it at. They actually hired a contractor, did exactly what we wanted. They actually did a very nice job of it. And we did not reimburse them right away. I told Grassland Management at the time that if there's a municipal drain report done at the time, or in a few years, then they could ask the engineer doing the report to consider incorporating it. And by doing so, then they would qualify for the 1/3 grant that's available from the province, as well as some of those cost sharings would be assessed to upstream landowners through the drain report process. So that's how we got here.
That's how they got there. Okay. Any other questions? Hearing no more, I will. Yeah, you get council. I mean, you've been quite quiet. Do you have any questions, Mark?
Greg, the upgrades and the cleanouts and whatever you're and adding to this drain, will it impact after it crosses our boundary? Will it impact that drain going through Normanby down to the Saugeen?
No, I don't believe
Not
it
at
will. What we're really doing is actually just taking it back to its original state. We are changing that grade in the upper end a little bit, but not significantly. And the characteristics of the drain actually change once you cross the boundary. It seems to be more open with more floodplain.
Mm-hmm. So the reason I asked that, if there has to be work there, it comes right back onto these people again.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you.
That's good to know. All right. Anything else?
Not yet.
Not yet. What do you got?
You're going to say so.
Oh, yeah, here. I'll state the council must decide whether or not to proceed with the project by provisionally adopting the engineer's report by a bylaw or referring the report back to the engineer for modifications. There is no right to appeal assessments or other aspects of the engineer's report at this meeting. These appeals rights will be made available later in the procedure.
And again, I note that we have a bylaw prepared, if appropriate, and it will be presented during open council.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just a point of procedure. You should allow people within the watershed to add or withdraw their name from the petition.
Oh,
we have a petition on this one.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. Yes, I didn't see that on my thing there.
No.
Okay. Does anybody want to add? What did you say? Add or
withdraw.
Add or withdraw from this drain petition. Sounds like nobody. We're good. There's nobody in this room, anyways. All right. Okay. I'll officially adjourn the meeting. Consider the engineer's report, drains number 20 and 117-209. Okay. Great. Now we're back into council. Moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Deputy Mayor Turton, that the Committee of the Whole convenes a regular council meeting. All in favor? Okay. Any notice of the motion? Moved by Councilor Anderson, second by Councilor McKenzie, the Council of the Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in the Committee of the Whole. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Gutson, second by Councilor Elliott, the bylaw number 2019-90, provisionally adopt the report prepared by Dietrich Engineering Limited, dated September 27, 2019, under Section 78 of the Drainage Act, Municipal Drain 23/2019, be introduced, read first, second, third time, or first and second time. Yep. All in favor? I have one more. You have to wait till the other, right?
And one more.
Yep. Moved by Deputy Mayor Turton, second by Councilor Anderson, the bylaw number 2019-91 to provisionally adopt the report prepared by the Dietrich Engineering Limited, dated September 27, 2019, under Section 4 of the Section 78 of the Drainage Act, Municipal Drains 20/2019 and 117/2019, be reduced, read first and second time. All in favor? Moved by Councilor McKenzie, second by Councilor Elliott, bylaw number 2019-92 to levy the assessments for drains that were repaired or maintained under Section 74 of the Drainage Act from 2014 to 2018 be reduced, read first, second, and third time, and passed open council, sealed the corporation. All in favor? Yeah, we can bring you come on back now. Moved by Councilor Dirksen and second by Councilor Gusson, the bylaw number 2019-93 to exempt part lot control for lands being part lot 81, 82, 83, and 84, Village of Clifford, Plan 7 and 8, Plan 61R 2499, and part of John Street, Village of Clifford, Plan Part 6, Plan 61R 2049, former Village of Clifford, Town of Minto, in the former Village of Clifford, Town of Minto, to be introduced, read first, second, and third time, passed an open council, seal the corporation. All in favor? Boy, somebody wrote that one. Wow. That was a wow. Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Deputy Mayor Turton, the bylaw number 2019-94 to appoint Tanya Robinson as tax collector for the Town of Minto will be introduced, read first, second, third time, and passed an open council and seal the corporation. All in favor?
She goes with that name.
I guess she can come into work tomorrow.
New title.
New title. Moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor McKenzie, the bylaw number 2019-95 to confirm actions of the Council of the Corporation of Town of Minto respecting a meeting held November 5th, 2019, being introduced, read first, second, and third time and passed open council. And seal of the corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Gutson, second by Councillor Elliott, that Council of Town of Minto adjourns to meet again at the call of the mayor. All in favor? Thanks everybody for coming.